What if I told you a two-time Cup Series champion just had one of the worst days of his season? On one of the biggest stages in NASCAR, Kyle Larson came to Indianapolis with a real shot at Stage 1. He left with a DNF and a lot of unanswered questions. Let's break down exactly what happened. And hey, real quick, if you are a true NASCAR fan like me, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe to the channel. NASCAR Nation News is just getting started. We are pushing for our next subscriber milestone, and it's all about real talk from fans who live this sport every week. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with where things stood heading into Sunday. Kyle Larson has been dealing with some rough luck lately, and honestly, the Brickyard 400 didn't do him any favors either. This is a driver with 2 Cup Series championships to his name, but 2026 has just not gone his way so far. Larson lined up 10th to start the race. And early on, things were actually looking pretty good for him. He made an early pit stop, and that move allowed him to undercut several other drivers on strategy. That's a smart, aggressive call, and it worked. He climbed forward and put himself in position to do something special. Here's how good it was getting for the number 5 team. Larson was just 5 laps away from winning Stage 1 of the Brickyard 400. 5 laps. That's how close he was to bagging a stage win at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, one of the most historic tracks on the entire schedule. But here's the thing. That's exactly when it all fell apart. Entering turn 3, the number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet suddenly snapped around and slammed into the outside wall. No warning, no slow fade. Just a sudden loss of control at a track where the walls do not forgive mistakes. Over the radio, Larson told his team he believed he might have cut a left rear tire. And that reaction tells you a lot, because this wasn't him second-guessing a driving mistake. This was him trying to figure out a mechanical issue in real time right after it happened. Back on pit road, crew chief Cliff Daniels reacted with shock and disbelief. Think about that for a second. This is a veteran crew chief, someone who's seen just about everything in this sport, and even he was caught off guard by what just happened to his driver's car. Soon after, Daniels was seen speaking directly with Goodyear representatives, which tells you the team wanted answers about that tire, and they wanted them fast. Now let's talk about what this means in the bigger picture, because the timing here really stings. This crash continues an unusual winless streak for Larson, one that actually dates all the way back to before his 2025 Indy 500 and Coca-Cola 600 double. That's a stretch worth remembering because that double was one of the most talked about feats in recent NASCAR memory. And yet, since then, victory lane has been out of reach for the number 5 team. Larson remains winless in 2026, and after Indianapolis, his day ended with a 39th place finish, scoring just a single point. Speaking after the race outside the infield care center, Larson addressed what happened. He explained that the team simply had a tire let go, and he made a point of saying he didn't think pushing the car had anything to do with it. According to Larson, he was only running about 0.3 of a second quicker than before, and he was actually saving fuel at the time. In his words, just a little bit of bad luck. He also praised his team's effort earlier in the race, pointing out that they qualified 10th and did exactly what they needed to do to gain track position and work their way toward the lead. Larson said he felt like the team had positioned themselves within the race and within the strategy to go after a win. He called it a bummer, but said they get back after it in Iowa. Now here's where the stakes really come into focus. Larson entered this race sitting 6th in the championship standings. Because of this DNF, he ended up losing 2 positions. And with the Chase reset coming up after Daytona in just over a month, every single point and every position right now is critical for seeding. Let's put this result in context too. With this finish at the Brickyard, Larson has now finished 34th or worse in 3 of the last 4 races. That is a rough stretch for any driver, let alone a 2-time champion. And it didn't stop there for Hendrick Motorsports. Not long after Larson's exit, his teammate Chase Elliott also hit the wall following contact with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That sent the number 9 Hendrick Chevrolet behind the wall as well, meaning 2 Hendrick cars were done for the day within a short span of each other. So here's my question for you. With the Chase reset just over a month away, can Kyle Larson turn things around in time, or is this rough stretch going to follow him right into the playoffs? Drop your thoughts down in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you're subscribed to NASCAR Nation News, because we'll be right back here covering every twist and turn this season throws at us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.